Graduates, you may be seated. Platform party. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Lynette Breedlove, Director of the Carol Martin Gatton Academy of Mathematics and Science in Kentucky. I welcome you to our graduation exercises as we celebrate the growth and accomplishments of these exceptional students. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and join Mrs. Beth Pope in the singing of our national anthem. On behalf of the administration of the Gatton Academy and Western Kentucky University, our faculty, staff, and these impressive students gathered before us, I welcome all of you who gathered here to pay tribute to our 2018 graduating class. I want to give special recognition to our quintet for the beautiful music they are providing this morning. Members include Natalie Adcock-Lesson, Lee Blakeman, Troy Puckett, Marshall Scott, and Joe Stites. Before we continue, just a note, would you please silence your cell phones to preserve the decorum of our ceremony today. Today is a day of celebration and reflection. These students have taken the most rigorous curriculum offered to any high school students in the nation. They left the comfort of their homes and established levels of independence that will impact their lives forever. They have forged new friendships which will grow exponentially in the years to come. All of these experiences have laid a foundation from which these exceptional young people can build lives of purpose, meaning, and service. Of the many things these students have pursued, one particular area of significance is the research in which they have been involved. The faculty with us today have mentored these students as they explored such areas as new techniques in chemistry, unknown frontiers in astronomy and physics, potential medical breakthroughs in biology, life-enhancing concepts in engineering, and unique applications in mathematics and computer science. These powerful learning environments have brought relevance to these areas of advanced learning. As we embrace this day of celebration, we can all take pride in the accomplishments of these outstanding students. Today, we would like to recognize different groups who have been instrumental in the lives of our graduates. And I ask that you hold your applause until all members of a specific group have been recognized. We begin by thanking local legislators. It's been through the support of these and numerous other members of the Kentucky General Assembly that this opportunity was made available to students. Their investment makes a difference in preparing students for advanced careers in the Commonwealth. I'm not sure that we've had you join us today, but if you snuck in, I'll ask you to stand, and regardless, I'd ask that we give our legislators a round of applause for the investment they've made in the Gatton Academy. Next, we welcome special members of the Western Kentucky University administration who've been vital to the success of the Gatton Academy. If we have administrators from WKU with us today, would you please rise? It is fitting that recognition be given to the individuals who have provided outstanding instruction and guidance for these graduates, both in the classroom and as mentors in research. With the exceptional support of these incredible teachers, research mentors, and brilliant minds, the Gatton Academy thrives. At this time, I would ask all WKU faculty members to stand so that we may recognize you and express our appreciation for what you have accomplished for these students. We understand that you may have many demands on your presence today, with WKU ceremonies taking place today as well as ours. And we certainly understand if you need to step out to head to Diddle Arena before we conclude today. But we appreciate your making a point to attend our ceremony today, and we appreciate all that you do to support our students. Members of the Gatton Academy administration are the next to be recognized. These men and women give unselfishly of their time and talent to love, support, and guide our remarkable students. Members with us this morning are Dr. Pokey Bowen, Assistant Director of Counseling Services, Mrs. Chelsea Dalcourt, Counselor, Ms. April Gasky, Coordinator of Student Success, Ms. Tracy Harkins, Coordinator of College Counseling, Ms. Beth Hawk, Assistant Director of Residential Life, Ms. Denitra Hodge, Coordinator of Student Activities, Mrs. Cheryl Kirby-Stokes, Coordinator of Academic Opportunities, Mr. Zach Ryle, Assistant Director of Admissions and Public Relations, Mr. Alex Sorrells, Coordinator of Alumni Relations and Recruitment, and Dr. Derek Strode, Assistant Director of Academic Services. I would also like to extend a special word of gratitude to our residential counselors. These are the individuals who created a second home for our students. Their dedication and enthusiasm has produced a warm, safe, and productive environment within which our students develop important life skills. Mr. Marquand Barty, Ms. Tamaya Dickerson, Mr. Alex Fonders, Ms. Lauren Kinzer, Ms. Chloe Muller, Mr. Jacob Roberts, Ms. Morgan Rogers, and Mr. Jake Salem. Next, we recognize our alumni who have taken their Gatton Academy experience to new levels. With so many demands on their time, we are happy they have joined us for today's festivities. Would our alumni who are here today please rise? To date, the Gatton Academy has partnered with approximately 200 public high schools from across the Commonwealth. We exist as an extension of every school, district, and classroom across the state. And we're fortunate to have superintendents, administrators, counselors, and teachers from across Kentucky who partner with us to meet the needs of high ability and gifted and talented students. These advocates play an important role. Working from the foundation laid in early years, these educators continue to ensure students' successes. We started a new program this year, the Gatton Academy Educator Recognition Program, to highlight the important role educators play in our students having the opportunity to gain admission to our school. Seniors were invited to recognize a Kentucky educator who played an important role in their journey to Gatton. All of the nominated educators are receiving certificates of excellence, and several have traveled to Bowling Green to celebrate this important milestone in their students' lives. I'd like to ask these educators to stand as I call their names, and I apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. So, Mrs. Peggy Phelan, Ms. Melissa Rash, Ms. Teresa Blaine, Mr. Jeremy Byrne, Mr. Vanis Brown, Dr. Karen Chesser, Ms. Tammy Collins, Dr. Darwin Dahl, Ms. Sharon Froge, Mrs. Crystal Harn, Mrs. Michelle Harris, Mrs. Suzanne Harwood, Ms. Doris Jean Holleran, Ms. Shiloh Ringel Honeywell, Ms. Megan Ironport, Mr. Jeremy Krug, Mrs. Chandra Lawson, Ms. Casey Ledridge, Mr. Christopher Manker, Ms. Teresa Montague, Mrs. Ellen Murphy, Mrs. Melanie Philpott, Mrs. Regina Taylor, Mr. Darrell Westfield, Mrs. Melissa Willoughby, and Mr. Woody Zorn. Thank you for the love and support you've provided our students and your dedication in being here today. There are also other dedicated educators who traveled here in support of their students. Principals, superintendents, teachers, you too have been important in our students' educational journeys. If you are a teacher, counselor, or administrator from a sending institution, would you please rise? Thank you too for being with us today. Next, I want to recognize the people who helped these students seize an opportunity that required substantial thought and sacrifice. They stepped out on faith in the knowledge that this opportunity would be the right place for their students to learn and grow. 2 years ago, they were the ones who carried boxes and dorm-sized refrigerators into Florence Schneider Hall, leaving behind their 15 and 16-year-olds. Trusting their children and trusting the Gatton Academy throughout their 2 years, they have supported and encouraged their students. They have been advocates for the Gatton Academy from day one, and we owe much of the success that is ahead to their support and aid. When you think back to move-in day, isn't it impressive how much these graduates have grown in only 2 years? I would like for all parents and guardians of today's graduates to please stand and remain standing. Would all grandparents of today's graduates please stand and join the parents? And I invite all other relatives and friends of today's graduates to also please stand. Graduates, I want you to look around and see the whole auditorium is full of people standing, people who are here in your honor and people who have helped you along your path. I want you to think, any time that you feel like you're alone, I want you to remember looking around this auditorium and seeing all of the people who are there for you. You would take your seat. At this time, I invite Dr. Julia Roberts, the Executive Director of the Gatton Academy and Director of the Center for Gifted Studies, to come forward for remarks. Dr. Roberts defines advocacy. Her diligence and perseverance are why we are here today. Please help me welcome Dr. Roberts to the podium.
Thank you and welcome to each of you. What a wonderful occasion to be here celebrating academic excellence. And that is the opportunity we have here today. As we look back over the 2 years, and we've done quite a bit of that both last night and today, we have so many wonderful things to remember. I had the pleasure of traveling with several of the graduates a year ago, January, to Greece, and last year to the travelers who went to Italy. And that's always a special time for me when we have that much time together. We have had many opportunities to look back, and I think probably an occasion that all of us will remember and remember fondly will be our 10th celebration. And I would have to say for me, it was really wonderful to see that the Gatton Academy had had 10 years. And I think it is spectacular that we celebrated with a total solar eclipse. Don't you think that's really good planning to have done that 10 years ago? It is with such pleasure that we have today a full group celebrating your scholarship, your research, your volunteerism. We're looking back to your global experiences that most of you have had at least one. It is truly a wonderful time to be together. We could not do what we do without the staff, without the faculty. We could not do it without the parents and families providing the support that they have. We absolutely need for each of you to thank your legislators. Look them up when you get home. And as you see the elections coming, talk to candidates about what they think about gifted kids and make sure that they're on board to support them. And now's the time to be doing that. And before I finish, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers, and that includes all of those who have also mothered these young people. And let's continue our celebration, remembering that academic excellence is incredibly important for our future. Congratulations to each of you.
In this, our 11th year, the students of the Gatton Academy have built upon the initial foundation and have excelled in their endeavors, both in and out of the classroom. This morning, we honor 88 graduating seniors as part of the Gatton Academy's class of 2018. They have continued to establish the path that countless classes will follow. They will leave this campus today as ambassadors for the Gatton Academy while growing as innovators for this great Commonwealth. The following students have been selected by the senior class to share their reflections and their experiences, as well as how they want to look ahead for the coming years. Our first speaker, Ms. Nikki Rajendran, is a graduating senior from Frankfort in Franklin County. Nikki conducted mentored research all 4 semesters at Gatton with Dr. Rachel Tinius in WKU's Exercise Science Department and presented results from that research numerous times. She also conducted research as an intern in the NIH's summer internship program. This past spring, she studied abroad with Gatton in China. So please welcome Nikki to the podium.
I can't believe that it's already been 2 years. It feels like just yesterday we were lost on campus trying to figure out where our next class was. Or in the case of Emily Nguyen, actually yesterday. But now I'm staring out at all of my best friends who also happen to be the smartest kids in the state. And Carly Taylor is here too. It's okay, she's going to Stanford, guys. And the rest all feels like a blur. After today, we'll all go our separate ways. Pre-med, pre-law, and I'm not really sure what it is that engineers do in college. It's crazy to think about how much we've changed and grown since we moved into Schneider Hall. Except for Jacob Harris, who is about to begin his 3rd year of being 14. We came in with so many expectations and excitement to be away from home and into this new life. For some of us, Gatton was a fresh start, in meeting new friends and learning a new environment. Of course, others cheated and went to Vampy or Scats. But the time between moving in and starting class was an odd period. I think back on it now and it feels like decades ago, when we all sat in the Great Hall for a week and listened to Beth and Lynette talk about the new rules and freedoms of our new home. Derek and Cheryl told us all about research and study abroad, and Pokey told us about how quickly the stress would kick in. For most of us, Gatton kept every promise they made during Grow Week. A lot of us took the time to explore research in fields like chemistry, psychology, and even linguistics. We spent countless hours in the lab, running experiments, analyzing data, putting together papers and presentations, all while the genome kids dug in the dirt. Many of us have spent some part of the last 2 years exploring abroad, experiencing the magic of waking up in a castle in England, heading down the cedar staircase to learn about persuasion in a beautiful ballroom, only to visit Jane Austen's home the next day was unforgettable. Or at least that's what they tell me. I didn't go to England. Walking along the steps of the Parthenon and staring into the blue waters at Hydra was absolutely stunning. Or so they tell me. I didn't go to Greece. Strolling along the wall, the Great Wall, watching Kwan break it down to stir fry, while Chinese tourists took a million photos of him, was pretty surreal. I did go to China though. We've done a lot of incredibly difficult things while we've been here too. Sure, we took CPS and physics, but we also faced challenges we never anticipated. We've all had to put that fitted sheet on our bed at 3 in the morning because we forgot and now our roommate's asleep and we're in a big mess. We've all had to explain the concept of Gatton to the dentist or the barber, that we are in high school, but also college, that we are much more than a dual enrollment program, and no, your nephew does not do what we do. We've all had to wait until the precise second to bombard April with schedule requests, and then do it a second time, thanks, Jerome. But let's be real, April has a lot of fun messing with us too. This past week, I've been reflecting a lot on our Gatton lasts, and it's made me wonder how many firsts we may never have experienced if we never made the big choice to come here. There were the low times, the panic we felt the first time we got a bad grade or didn't zip our code into a file and now we're all crying. We've all held each other terrified the night before a big test that we didn't feel ready for. In fact, I did that last night, the night before too. We've all held each other in the Great Hall after midnight on November 8th, 2016, rooting for our candidate. There were 1,000 more good times though. The first time we met our best friends and realized that no one else we ever met or we were friends with before Gatton will ever compare with how close we are with this person. There was the first time our code worked, it ran with no errors and we all cried. And this hasn't happened to me yet, Dr. Jing, if you're here. There was the first time we discovered that Wendy Cecil is actually that nice. The first time we heard Pooja sing, if you haven't, you're lucky. The first time we watched a J.J. Marquardt film, and the first time we heard Sam Kessler, the piano man, say formal with his strap-on harmonica. And it's all made me realize that one day, we'll have our last school test. Our last time scheduling classes on TopNet. One day we'll have our last wild Friday night exploring campus with the people we've made a million memories with. One day we'll lock our rooms, return our keys, and walk out of those doors at Schneider Hall for the last time as students. One day we'll be standing in alphabetical order in caps and gowns with the people who've become our family. All of us people that will likely never all be in the same room together again. And that day is finally today, and I couldn't be more thankful that it was with you guys. Thank you to first floor boys, who showed us just how tight guy friends can actually be. All right, second floor guys, you too. Thank you to fourth floor girls for showing us how to have a good time without even leaving your common area. And second floor guys, thank you for bringing Gatton the honor of losing every basketball game you played this season. I know, Arthur, you guys forfeited one, okay, but that's a win. Endless thanks to our professors and Gatton staff and our parents for their dedication. Above all, thank you to my fellow classmates. I really do think we can change the world. And if not the world, then almost certainly the next version of the Gatton Handbook. Their journey was incredible, the friendships unforgettable. Now remember our stories and family for decades to come. Mom, Dad, Dia, I hope I didn't embarrass you too much up here. Best of luck, class of 2018, and thank you for the best 2 years of my life.
Our second speaker is Miss Olivia Gillum, a graduating senior from Madisonville in Hopkins County. Olivia conducted research during her first year at Gatton with Dr. Noah Ashley in the WKU Department of Biology. Then, during the summer, she conducted research at UK's Markey Cancer Center through the Gatton Research Internship Program. Olivia traveled to England with Gatton's Harlington Study Abroad program and to Mexico on a WKU Study Abroad program. She has also served as a Gatton community developer. Please welcome Olivia to the podium.
The most valuable thing that we possess is our identity. For many of us, we spent the majority of our younger years known as the smart kid. We were the ones who always had the answers and always asked the questions, and for the most part, we were okay with that. We grew up and went to high school, still known as the smart kid. We took APs, IBs, ACTs, SATs, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, but for some reason or another, we felt like we didn't have everything that we needed. Somehow, some way, we came across this place, the Gatton Academy, the atypical high school. The allure of new academic challenges, university-level research, and the opportunity to interact with other smart kids. One of the first things that we were told by staff is that we would no longer be the smart kid, we were now just a smart kid. Now we were in a new place, surrounded by new people, and one of the pillars of our identity was now just a background trait. We were able to become who we wanted to be instead of who we had always been. In other words, now we could search for our true identity. We were no longer just a school of smart kids. We were now a school of kids who spend too much money on India Oven, host NBA 2K tournaments, trade cryptocurrency in the computer lab, and watch movies every Friday night in the den. We relinquished the identities given to us and replaced them with priceless personalities. Instead of the smart kid, we became the roommates with impeccable fashion sense and polar opposite taste in food. We became the kid who films short films on the weekends and writes comedy sketches. We became the humblest narrator with a penchant for contemplating the unknown, and henna artist with pastel hair. We became ourselves. But there's another facet to the word identity that doesn't involve people. It involves things, or in this case, a place. I want to go back to the description given to our high school, the atypical high school. By my friends at home, Gatton was given the identity of nerd school. It was seen as glorified summer camp with homework. On move-in day 2016, we didn't know what to expect. What we got was so much more valuable than nerd school, and Gatton has been so much more than just a high school. Gatton has been a place for us to experience some of the best and some of the worst days of our lives. It's been a place for all-nighters, late-night hide-and-seek, Waffle House runs, nerds, rockin' dances, boba tea adventures, and a community that is unmatched. But it's also been a place that has seen our first failures, soaked our tears into the common room carpets, and shown us what sleep deprivation really looks like. Our cost changed Gatton's identity from a school of 120 students to a school of 160 and now 200 students. We christened the expansion with our pre-CS CPS excitement. We filled it with laughter and hope that somehow WebAssign would be turned in before midnight. Like every class before us, we've put our mark on the identity of the Gatton Academy. Going forward, we're faced with an identity crisis. Within the hour, we will transition from Gatton Academy students to alumni. We will be thrust out into the real world in the same way that we were once thrust into the unknown of the Gatton Academy. As we begin our new journeys, our experiences will continue to shape our identities. We'll transition from students to doctors, nurses, lawyers, ambassadors, engineers, linguists, maybe even future presidents. When facing these new challenges, I want to remind you that we are now equipped in a way that we were not 2 years ago. A new pillar of your identity that will never change is the piece of you that will always be a Gatton student, or as some people call us, Gattonites. By making the choice to come here, we unknowingly cemented our spot in eternity as members of the most amazing community in the world. We are now a part of the hundreds of students who have graduated before us, and that's a bond that can never be broken. If you're like me at all, you're a little worried about what your identity will become once you leave this place. For the first time in 2 years, we will be spread across the state with no move-in date or Sunday night curfew to reunite us. We will no longer be known as our niche in the Gatton community. However, this should not discourage you, because the people sitting in this auditorium know who you are, and most importantly, you know who you are. It's been an honor to find my identity with you all these past 2 years. I can never thank you enough for what you have done for me. Class of 2018, I love you.
Thank you both so much. What a pleasure it is to introduce Hood Harris as our 2018 Gatton Academy graduation speaker. Mr. Harris represents an industry that exemplifies science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as he is president of AT&T Kentucky. He earned his engineering degree at Auburn University. Within AT&T, he is responsible for the company's local, state, and federal government relations, public policy, and community relations initiatives across the Commonwealth. His work experience includes serving as Chief of Staff of a Congressman of Alabama and directing the company's public affairs efforts in the southeastern United States, including strategy development and implementation of AT&T key legislative and regulatory initiatives. I would like to highlight that AT&T Kentucky has been supportive of the Gatton Academy since its beginning, and I want to thank Hood Harris as I welcome him to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. When I got the invitation to come and share some thoughts with the graduates, I was honored and excited, and I appreciate the opportunity. Dr. Roberts, faculty and staff, parents, and most importantly, graduates, I'm thrilled to be here today. This is a tremendous day for you, and I'll warn you, I had prepared remarks, which I'm going to put aside, because if you'll indulge me, I just want to speak to the graduates for a second. Earlier you said we can make a difference. And I want to say it's not just that you can make a difference, you must make a difference, and you will make a difference. It's a good news, bad news situation, because the bad news is we live in a world with ever-increasing population, ever-increasing demands on our resources, and that leads inevitably to conflict, to inequality, to people that are in need. The good news is you've been given the tools to help solve those problems. You've been given the tools to help us better utilize our resources. You've been given the tools to make sure as we're demanding more, extracting resources from this planet, that we're doing it in a way that's environmentally responsible. You've been given the tools define our future. So you must change, and you will change this world. The good news is, the tools that you have and the things that are coming are going to allow you to have more of an impact than probably any generation that came before you. Just in my company, the things that we're doing, 5G technology. You're using 4G LTE on your cell phones now. 5G is the next generation that will allow us to do gigabit speeds, but more importantly, will allow us to have low power transmitters that will be very inexpensive that we can put into anything, anywhere. The Internet of Things. We can track food production in the fields. We can track the distribution of foods that leaves the fields. We can make sure we're distributing it efficiently. We're putting it through factories efficiently, and we're getting it into the grocery store shelves or into people's homes efficiently. Just with the 5G technology. That is the Internet of Things. That gives us tremendous insights into data and analytics. Smart cities. As we have more demands and more people living in urban areas, we have more opportunities to do things more efficiently. Mass transit, traffic, distribution of water, elimination of sewer and waste, all that can be done orders of magnitude more efficiently than we're doing it today. And you've got those tools. With the Internet of Things, with smart cities, with 5G, that leads inevitably to this new massive data. In the past, we were talking earlier, mathematics allowed us to define what the world is and how we see it. In the future, because of the things that you have, you're going to be able to help use the mathematics not just to define the problem and solve the problem, but to find new insights into the problem. With big data, the insights, the way to use that to examine the data and find new insights and new ways to solve problems, those tools are in your hands. It's an exciting time. And you hold the key to making the world a better place. So it's not just that you can change the world. You have to change the world. You are going to be the basis upon which this world becomes a better place, all of our lives are enriched, and we can all live a better, happier, more fulfilled life. And I say this not just as an engineering graduate, but parents, I say this as the father of a 6-year-old. That I want one day to be as successful as your kids are, and I hope he can have the impact that I know your kids are going to have. So, Dr. Breedlove, Dr. Roberts, thank you for allowing me to be here today. Graduates, we're counting on you. Thank you.
I now ask Mr. Zach Ryle to come to the podium. He will give instructions about the individual recognition of our graduates.
I request that the marshals bring the graduates forward. This is a special time in the ceremony in which we recognize each student individually for their accomplishments. We are thankful to have with us today a professional photographer who will be taking pictures of each graduate as they receive their diploma. We request that you refrain from coming to the stage to take pictures. In addition, you are asked to please refrain from blocking the view of others by standing to take pictures. Robert Sims Alexander, a graduate from Barron County. Patton Harrison Allen, a graduate from Butler County. Olivia Grace Bickett, a graduate from Davis County. Jacob Glenn Bowen, a graduate from Meade County. Jonathan Thomas Bramley, a graduate from Jefferson County. Ethan Ashton Allen Brown, a graduate from McCracken County. Mackenzie Francis Brunson, a graduate from Pulaski County. Piper Shyland Cannon, a graduate from Davis County. Wendy Michelle Cecil, a graduate from Nelson County. Benjamin William Conkright, a graduate from Davis County. Maxwell Luke Conti, a graduate from Warren County. Maggie Caitlin Cook, a graduate from Boone County. Hannah Loren Cope, a graduate from Graves County. Caleb Wyatt Curry, a graduate from Lawrence County. Maxwell Thomas Diener, a graduate from Scott County. Samuel Douglas Durham, a graduate from Lincoln County. Alicia Colleen Eds, a graduate from Oldham County. Geron Ruvintha Fernando, a graduate from Boone County. Caroline Peyton Farrow, a graduate from Jefferson County. Callie Ann Freeman, a graduate from Jefferson County. Tom Harrison Froge, a graduate from Monroe County. Grayson Keith Fuller, a graduate from Woodford County. Austin Scott Gabbard, a graduate from Anderson County. Stephen Richard Geico II, a graduate from Warren County. Marco Antonio Garcia, a graduate from McCracken County. Olivia A. Gillum, a graduate from Hopkins County. Emily Catherine Guernsey, a graduate from Oldham County. Lillian Kendall Ham, a graduate from Pulaski County. Jacob Christopher Harris, a graduate from Estill County. Samuel Dean Hart, a graduate from Rowan County. Olivia Hawkins, a graduate from Allen County. Skylar Trenton Hornback, a graduate from LaRue County. Madeline Van Hulse, a graduate from Davis County. Jalen Eugene Hurt, a graduate from Hardin County. Ren Allison Jenkins, a graduate from Boyd County. Grace Cassidy Jones, a graduate from Allen County. Arjun Kanthawar, a graduate from Laurel County. Benjamin Charles Cash, a graduate from Warren County. Samuel Colby Kessler, a graduate from Taylor County. Nikhil A. Krishna, a graduate from Knox County. Yik Hoi Kwan, a graduate from Callaway County. Noemi Liebman, a graduate from Oldham County. Margaret Diane Elliott Lewis, a graduate from Bullitt County. Ben Lynn, a graduate from Jefferson County. Chloe Morgan Lindsay, a graduate from Grayson County. Ty Ryan Littlefield, a graduate from Caldwell County. Jack James Marquardt, a graduate from Warren County. George Benedict Mattingly, a graduate from Kenton County. Brock Andrew McDaniel, a graduate from Henderson County. Jonna Shane McManus, a graduate from Ballard County. Bronson McQueen, a graduate from Laurel County. Emma Jo Moore, a graduate from Casey County. Janki Ronnie Naidugari, a graduate from Boone County. Natalie B. Nagong, a graduate from Jefferson County. Emmeline Nguyen, a graduate from Warren County. Frankie Nee, a graduate from Warren County. John Robert Nickel, a graduate from Rowan County. Megan R. Mew, a graduate from Warren County. Leah Claire Knopfsinger, a graduate from Jefferson County. Aiden Eli O'Brien, a graduate from Rowan County. Dia Deepak Patel, a graduate from Christian County. Martin Alexander Pena, a graduate from Shelby County. Megan Taylor Perez, a graduate from Warren County. Evan Poole, a graduate from Muhlenberg County. Keely Pullum, a graduate from Warren County. Nikita Rajendran, a graduate from Franklin County. Natalie Ann Reed, a graduate from Campbell County. Mary Kirsten Riley, a graduate from Hardin County. Jalen M. Rhodes, a graduate from Jefferson County. Keely Renee Raskowski, a graduate from Breckenridge County. Kim Ryumae, a graduate from Boone County. Hassan Salman Salim, a graduate from Laurel County. Sarah Beth Sarver, a graduate from Hardin County. Celine Francis Sargan, a graduate from Pulaski County. Harper Clay Souls, a graduate from Clark County. Kyler Griffin Shaw, a graduate from Meade County. Olivia Catherine Simpson, a graduate from Franklin County. Lindy Michelle Sipes, a graduate from Fulton County. Dylan Eric Tate, a graduate from Jefferson County. Carly Ann Taylor, a graduate from Campbell County. Alexa Davis Thompson, a graduate from Warren County. Summer Way, a graduate from Kenton County. James David Whitaker, a graduate from Warren County. Philip Lucas Wilkerson, a graduate from Logan County. Kyla Eileen Wilkie, a graduate from Madison County. Morgan Olivia Williams, a graduate from Boone County. Gongsi Zhu, a graduate from Fayette County. Daniela Alexandra Ziba, a graduate from Fayette County. Dr. Breedlove, these candidates have completed the requirements for a high school diploma prescribed by the Gatton Academy in conformity to the standards of the Kentucky Department of Education. On behalf of Western Kentucky University, the Gatton Academy, and each student sending institution, I extend these students congratulations and the earnest pride we feel toward each of them for achieving this milestone. At this time, friends and guests, it is my great pleasure to present to you the members of the Carroll Martin Gatton Academy of Mathematics and Science in Kentucky's class of 2018.
Remain standing. It is with pleasure that I recommend to you that the appropriate status be conferred upon these candidates, who, by the application of their abilities to their assigned studies, have completed the prescribed program of study and have demonstrated their qualifications for this high recognition. Will the members of the class of 2018 please rise? As the 11th graduating class of the Carroll Martin Gatton Academy of Mathematics and Science in Kentucky, you are the true avatars of the Academy's spirit. As you have received from this institution, so it is your responsibility to give back to the generations of students yet to come. Your support will be invaluable to the success of our school and the Commonwealth of Kentucky. At this time, to signify your accomplishments and your change in status from student to graduate, please move your tassels from the right side of your mortarboard to the left, placing them over your heart. And now please welcome to the podium once more Mrs. Beth Pope for the singing of our state song, My Old Kentucky Home. At the conclusion of the song, please remain standing. Would you please rise? Mrs. Pope. This brings us to the conclusion of our ceremony. Please join me in congratulating the Gatton Academy class of 2018.